I'm Molly.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jen.
And welcome to Folks Forever, a Lois and Clark rewatch podcast.
We are three fans who've been loving LNC since 1993.
Each week we'll recap one episode and talk about at least one LNC-related topic.
If you would like to learn more about who we are, how we became folks, and or how we became friends, check out our intro episode.
Today we're going to be discussing Season 1, Episode 12, All Shook Up. We'll also be bringing you a profile on the lady who got to push Clark Kent off a balcony in this episode. It's our Martha Kent, Kay Callan.
Only the best Martha Kent ever.
I don't even think that's up for debate.
So we had some excitement yesterday. Jen and I went to the Rose City Comic Con here in Portland, Oregon. And I said to her that I was going to try to find some people wearing Superman costumes and go up to them and ask if I could take their photo. And you'll be happy to know not only did I find 4 Superman costume people, I also found 2 Clark Kents. So 6 total that I got photos of.
We were talking early on about how we need to find like a Clark Kent and how rare that would be. We found him. And it's someone I know. Which was,
That's
it was
weird.
Wild. I know. It was so wild. Crazy.
Yeah, and he was nice enough to do the shirt pull for us
Yes,
for the picture.
Yes.
Awesome.
I never explained to him why we were doing that, by the way. As I mentioned before, a closet podcaster, he's just going to think we're weird now.
We went to a panel for Mr. Bruce Campbell, aka Bill Church Jr., and he was super funny, a little snarky, but super funny. Very enjoyable.
Yeah. I would have loved to have asked him a question about Lois and Clark. No one did, but the people that did ask questions, he was starting to get a little snippety, like making fun in a sometimes not so nice way, but it's okay. He was funny though. It was very much worth sitting there for an hour. But we missed you, Julie. You should have come.
No. See, I just need time. I live a little bit far.
I know.
We just need to plan. We gotta go somewhere.
2 weeks ago, I think we decided to go, so
Yeah.
there wouldn't been much time. Yeah, that's all right. All Shook Up first aired on January 2nd, 1994. Less than a week later, the United Kingdom got its first glimpse of our little show, which began airing on BBC One that Saturday night. In the UK, LNC was known as The New Adventures of Superman, I assume because they thought UK audiences might not appreciate the pun. Which I was thinking this might be a good time to mention that, yeah, Lois and Clark, not just the names of our 2 main characters. The title is a play on Lewis and Clark for like the one person listening who maybe didn't know that. We don't have to get into them, but look them up. But since Jen and I are from Oregon, and also if you live in Washington, they are all over the place here. There's a Clark County, a Lewis County, there's a Lewis and Clark College, and we hear this name all the time. And it's been making my brain do somersaults since 1993.
Every Lois and Clark episode had a title. All Shook Up is the name of an Elvis Presley song from 1957. The song was composed by Otis Blackwell. It spent 9 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard charts that year, and it is number 352 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time.
Finally, an Elvis song gets an episode title. It's about time.
Yay! I kind of wonder why they didn't call it Panic in the Sky.
Oh.
You want to talk about that for a minute, Julie? What Panic in the Sky refers to?
Well, the episode was a remake of the episode Panic in the Sky from the Adventures of Superman TV series from, 1953, the George Reeves series. So I kind of always wondered why they changed the title. They didn't just reuse it. But they got Elvis in there, so I do like that they used an Elvis title. That was good.
I ended up watching that episode today.
Oh, you did?
Hoo boy.
Yeah.
Good? No?
I watched it yesterday.
I mean, maybe we should wait till the
guys,
end of this
I didn't get this
episode.
homework assignment.
I didn't know it was even available because I've tried to find it before and haven't found it. And then I tried again today and I found it. So
Nice.
yeah, let's save that discussion to the end of the episode, but definitely we want to draw some comparisons. Yeah. Well, so why don't we talk about some of our memories Oh, memories. What about first seeing this episode? That's all about amnesia, by the way. But I don't have amnesia when it comes to the memories for this episode because this was one of the ones that I had on tape from 1994. I've said this before probably, I only had five first season episodes on tape for the longest time, and this was one of them. However, when we first recorded it, I don't know why, but we were missing like the first 11 minutes. So for months and months and months, I would re-watch this episode over and over again, but it would only be from where Clark comes back to Earth in a fiery ball and lands in the alley. From that point onward and the rest of the episode, I watched it's like I don't know how we got here, but it's fine. Um, then this episode was one of the rare episodes that ABC actually aired three times. So it reran in December of 1994. And this time I was like, I'm going to get it on tape, the whole thing, it's going to be fine. I did not get it all on tape, sadly. I ruined,
No.
once again, I botched it. I didn't have my tape ready in time, and I missed the first 5 minutes of the episode this time. So this poor
Improvement.
episode, I love it, but I have a very strange relationship with it.
Dang.
How about you, Julie? What's your memories of this episode?
This is very weird comparison to you because this episode I specifically remember because I also missed the very beginning of this episode because we were at church and church ran over and then we had to go to my grandparents' house and we were home later than usual. And I missed everything all the way up until Clark was in the Daily Planet getting introduced to Perry and Jimmy. And I was like, what is happening? And it took me a while to figure out what the heck was going on. Why he didn't know these people? What happened? Why was the end of the world coming? Like, what the heck? So that's weird that we have kind of the same memory of this episode.
How about you, Jen?
Wow. Well, I was able to record it from the start, so I had none of these problems whatsoever. I just
Yay!
remember enjoying the episode. I thought Clark was super cute in this episode. He was it was that part where he changed the glasses that to me stuck with me so hard because he just, he takes them off and then he kind of looks at her and she could have turned around any minute, and I just remembered how he came so close so many times. I lived for those moments. And I also remember thinking it was fun to see Lois wrapping her mind around Kat trying to manipulate Clark's memory and maybe getting a little bit jealous. Like chef's kiss. That was perfect. So yeah, that was kind of what stuck out to me was just I was still into the relationship pieces.
Well, before we get into our episode summary, we have our very own summaries in 16 words or less. Mine is asteroids, amnesia, and existential crises abound in a heartfelt, sweet, and sometimes surprisingly funny episode.
That was a good one.
Julie.
Lois kisses Superman, but only loves Clark, like a brother. Oh, and Superman ends up naked.
Important details. All right.
It's an important detail. I had to add that.
Gee, I wonder how Julie's and Jen's gonna line up together. Let's find out. So mine is Superman gets hit by an asteroid and gets amnesia, and Clark's naked in a hole. That's all you need to know.
I was gonna put naked in a hole, but I was like, I don't know about that.
Naked in a ditch.
Crater.
No, you know what? That's what the guy
Crater.
says. He's like, "You sleeping in a hole. You ain't got no clothes on." It's right there.
Yeah,
It's right there in the episode.
That's true. So our guest stars for this episode are J.A. Preston, who plays General Zyland. He is best known for A Few Good Men, Body Heat, and Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. We also have Richard Belzer, played Inspector Henderson. He's best known for Law and Order SVU, Homicide, Life on the Street, Scarface, and he has played so many detectives. Talk about typecasting. Next, we have Richard Rote, played Professor Stephen Deitch. He was Rose Nyland's, or Betty White's, boyfriend, who was found dead in her bed the next morning on Golden Girls. That's how I
Yikes.
know him. Otherwise, he's best known for a TV show called The Doctors, and he also did an episode of Friends, Ellen, Seinfeld, and lots of other 90s sitcoms. David Sage played John Cosgrove, best known for The Birdcage, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Falcon Crest. He comes back to Lois and Clark in season 2 in Target Jimmy Olsen as Dr. Alan Golden. We also have Matt Clark played the homeless man. He was in Back to the Future Part 3, and he did a few episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger. Jennifer Lewis played Mystique. She's best known for Blackish. She voiced Mama Odie in The Princess and the Frog. She was in The Preacher's Wife and also Castaway.
I did want to mention Jennifer Lewis has also written several books, and the first movie I saw her in, I think, was Sister Act, but she's also in Karina. She just pops up in so many things, but she always plays these vastly different characters. So you're like, that's the same woman. Oh my goodness.
Sue-Ann Spoke played Dr. Jerry McCorkle. She was in The Thing About Pam, Station 10, and Wild Prairie Rose. Rick Fitz played Frank Madison, best known for Modern Family, Parks and Rec, Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Voyager, Desperate Housewives, Friends, Frasier, Seinfeld, just to name a few. We also have Sean Taube, Asabi. Okay, and last but not least, Bryce Zabel, uncredited, played the priest. He was the supervising producer of this episode and also a well-known writer of Lois and Clark, Dark Skies, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and a TV miniseries called Pandemic. The end. You may now take the floor.
Even the vendor from Daryl's cart in the beginning, he has went on to have a massive career. His name is Eric. I don't know how to say the last name. I'm going to guess Laneville.
Mm-hmm.
He won an Emmy for directing. He's done Chicago Fire, Blue Bloods, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Lethal Weapon, the TV series, NCIS LA, The Mentalist, CSI New York, Ghost Whisperer. It goes on and on and on. So he's had a massive career after being just the vendor.
Yeah. That's
Daryl,
wild.
though, isn't he Daryl? No,
I'm assuming his name is Daryl.
I think it is. He seems like he owns it. But yeah, so many good guest stars in this episode, and I think every character is important. But I do have one question. Who plays Applegate? And what does the director have against this man?
This poor man.
Yeah.
Do we ever see Applegate again? We don't, right? I didn't think so.
I mean, he's in another scene in this episode, but yes, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in other episodes.
I didn't think he was in another episode.
Oh,
But
Applegate.
yeah, poor Applegate. I work alone. Aw.
Do you guys remember when Target Jimmy Olsen aired? Did you immediately recognize Jimmy's doctor and it's like, hey, that's the guy from All Shook Up? Because I was like,
You did?
I did not.
oh,
I was
yeah.
not
I knew he
paying
looked
attention.
familiar. I did remember that he looked familiar, but I didn't make the connection that he was another person on this show. Now I do, but yeah.
We open on the Daily Planet globe with some joyful music playing as Lois and Clark are walking to work together. They walk up to Daryl's coffee cart. We've never seen Daryl before, but clearly Lois and Clark are regular customers because the barista knows exactly what each one wants. Plain old decaf for Lois and a latte with a bunch of cream and sugar for Clark.
Still on that health kick, I see.
Oh, life is short, Lois. Order what you want.
Life is long, Clark, and you are what you eat. Most of us, anyway.
As they walk away, a giant shadow begins to cover everything. What's going on? A solar eclipse? Nah, can't be that. They'd have heard about it in advance. As they're looking around all confused, Clark hears the screeching tires of a car and sees that it's out of control and about to crash. He rushes over and stops the car. And I think it's supposed to be dark in this scene. I mean, they keep mentioning that it
Yeah.
got dark this morning, but they forgot to make
Yeah.
it dark when he stops the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made note of that. The whole point was the car was out of control because he couldn't see and it was dark, but they didn't shoot it in the dark, so it really didn't make any sense. The guy, with how bright it was, the guy would have seen him hitting, like, what?
I suppose we're just supposed to imagine that it was very dark, okay? So,
Yeah.
So just as quickly as it came, the dark shadow begins to disappear and it's sunny out again. Lois is looking around for Clark, and Clark realizes, whoops, you better do something. So he pretends like he got hit by the car and flings himself into some old boxes and junk.
The guy driving would have seen that and went, wait, is this an insurance fraud thing? Like,
Yeah.
like there's a huge pause. And the guy got out of the car and like looked at his car and didn't even give a crap that he hit Clark.
Yeah.
Like no cares whatsoever.
The only one that cares is Lois, who comes running up and like grabs his head.
She checks him over, no blood, but he asks, what happened? And she says, the sun just blocked out. And he asks why, and she doesn't know, but...
It'll make an even better story. Come on, this could be our lucky day.
Did you notice, I don't know if this is like a streaming issue / Blu-ray issue, because I know that since they made into HD, we've seen some things on the sides of the screen that we're not meant to see. Did you see like there's another guy flailing in that scene? You can see his arm. He looks like a second Clark.
No.
I'm going
What?
to screen share this.
We'll be right back.
It's definitely like they were using the stunt double to do the fall and have it be an instantaneous like hit and then fall, but they didn't do that.
But why? Wait, Dean's in the same shot though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Why would they shoot
Now-
that like that? Maybe different angles. Maybe there was another camera shooting from a different angle and they were trying to capture so they didn't have to
The whole
move the
thing.
car
So there wasn't that
multiple
gap.
times. Yeah.
I need to go back and watch the tapes and the DVDs to see if it's still an issue or if it's just a thing since
Compare.
they did HD. But yeah. You noticed something way later in, I think, Return of the Prankster with when the prankster gets pants, there's definitely something happened in the transfer of to HD where there's a goof happening.
Yep.
We'll
There's a
get
few in that one.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
You got a while to wait for that one.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry about that.
So we have the theme song, and afterwards, we are now at Epbrad. And we hear an announcer voice saying, that concludes the Epbrad presentation on today's solar eclipse caused by the so-called nightfall asteroid. Phones are available outside for those of you who need to file your stories immediately. The doors open, and a bunch of reporters spill out and begin hurrying down a ramp. We see Lois and Clark amongst them. Lois tells Clark to take out, as in to hinder, one of the reporters behind him. And when Clark tries to tell her that that guy is a TV reporter and he's not even their competition, she quickly turns and shoves Clark into the other reporter. Then she runs toward the bank of phones, snatches the receiver of the last available one, and phones up Perry. Julie, do you have something to say about where this was filmed?
This location is Griffith Observatory. You and myself, was it 2005, I think, when we were there?
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, it was all blocked off because they were remodeling or something. And I was so bummed because I wanted to push you down the ramp, but I didn't get to. I only got to see it from a distance. I'm so sad. I still need to go back now.
Next
But you
trip.
guys went, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We went in 2010, and at the time we could not remember if Lois and Clark went downstairs or a ramp because there's two of them right next to each other. So we took pictures on both of them just in case. But yeah, it's the ramp. We were there with my cousin and her husband. We did not explain to them why we needed these photos. We were just like, can you kindly take a photos of here and here? And we didn't tell them why.
That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot they were there too. I also went at some point with my family. I don't remember which trip we went because we went to California pretty much every summer.
So Lois has just, shoved Clark and gotten the last phone. And Clark comes up and he's kind of rolling his eyes and he asks Lois about the shove. Was that really necessary? She responds,
Kill or be killed.
Lois, you're talking about war. This is journalism.
See, your problem is you think there's a difference.
love it. While Lois is giving the details to Perry on the phone about the asteroid and the press conference they've just been to, a man wearing an EPRAD badge approaches Clark and asks to speak with him privately. The man says, I understand the Daily Planet has a special relationship with Superman. Clark says, yeah, well, we've had some exclusives. Sure. The man asks Clark if he can try to contact Superman because this man would like Superman to come by EPRAD tonight, if possible. And he won't tell Clark why. Just get Superman here. We cut to the Daily Planet where Perry says he's sorry for the late hour, everyone, but this is a big story. He tells Lois and Clark that one of them should be writing, so Clark agrees to do it, and he heads over to Lois's desk and starts working on the asteroid's story using super speed. He then writes a be right back note for Lois and heads off to EPRAD as Superman.
I did notice the paper that he carries over to the computer and like sets down on the desk. I have that paper, the crime rate one.
Oh, cool.
It's always fun to see those. I'm like, yeah, I have that one.
Nice.
Perry orders Kat to call up some of the more famous people she knows and drum up some human interest about the asteroid. He says if she needs any help, she can ask Applegate. And the camera pans to a Daily Planet staffer we've never seen before, but looks a little bit like Ben Stein and has a bow tie. Kat takes one look and tells Perry,
I work alone.
Oh, I love it.
Poor guy.
I love it.
Colin.
he does look rather intense.
I know.
He looks so nerdy. I love it. Cat's like, heck no. Poor guy.
It's nighttime and we're back at EPRAD. And the man who spoke to Clark earlier, Professor Stephen Deitch, is his name, and he is looking into a telescope. We hear a voice from behind him.
You've been looking for me, Professor?
Superman has arrived. Superman asks to look through the telescope, and the professor says, sure, but I thought you had enhanced visual abilities.
I do, but I also have my limits, too. Fascinating what kind of surprises the universe can turn up, isn't it?
The way he says his lines here is so cringeworthy. I hate it every single time I watch this episode. The way he talks, it's not.
Yeah.
He's trying way too hard.
If he had been consistent with how he talked to Superman, this could have been the deal, but like he hardly ever talks like this as Superman. Hello, I am here. No, no, no.
I
Yes,
am here
it
to save
is.
the day. Yeah.
It is very cringy. I agree. I do not like him as Superman in this episode at all. The way he speaks. It's very weird.
But I feel like we don't see that very often when he does that. So I'll give him a pass. Maybe he was having a day, or maybe, who knows what the director asked him to do. Like sometimes you get advice that's not so good and you just take it and run with it. So I don't know. But
Maybe he's like, oh
Bad
man,
call.
Pheromone My Lovely 2 episodes ago, Lois almost figured out my secret. I need another strategy. I know, as
I'll talk
Superman, I'll
different."
talk like this.
right.
Then it didn't last.
Yeah, no, thank God it didn't last.
Thank
Yes, but
goodness.
I like how the guy thinks that he can see the asteroid without anything. I did the math here. The asteroid is 2,880,000 miles away. 2 million.
Wow.
He can't look that far.
No.
Come on.
And it's gonna fall to Earth in 4 days. It's that far
In
away.
4 days. Mm-hmm.
How-
Well, it's
and
going
tra-
30,000 miles an hour.
Okay, this is a math problem from like 7th grade.
Oh man. I'm telling you what, I did the math for all of it. It's insanity. It's insanity.
Yikes.
All right, so like you just said, the professor explains to Superman, how big this asteroid is, how fast it's going. And Superman says that, well, you told all the reporters that much at the news conference, so why am I here? The professor tells Superman that if his calculations are correct, the asteroid will hit Earth in approximately 4 days, and that would be catastrophic. It might even end all life on Earth. Well, yikes.
Yeah.
While the professor is talking about how horrible this will be, Superman notices that two men are outside the room listening to this conversation. And he says loudly,
You might as well come out, gentlemen. I know you're there.
they don't care. They're like, yeah, duh. Okay, here we are.
Sure. Hello.
Enter Secretary John Cosgrove and General Robert Zeitlin. They explain that they need Superman's help to stop it.
The country needs your help, Superman. So does the world.
You're our only hope, Superman, they tell him. Superman says, almost to himself,
I guess we're about to find out what my limits really are.
Another cheesy line.
Yep, and in the same voice.
Yeah.
Glad this
the
scene is
close up on
over.
his face.
Yeah, I know. Just add to it. Come on.
Now it's daytime at Eprad, and a bunch of reporters, including Lois, are there to see Superman head off for space. Lois and Superman have a cute scene together in which Lois tells Superman that she's feeling scared enough for the both of us. Superman touches her cheek and says,
I'll be back. We'll go flying.
I hope so.
when he starts to turn to go, she pulls him back and plants a big kiss on his lips.
I never really thought about this before until I was watching it this time.
Nothing.
Just kissed a reporter and no one bats an eye.
There's no reports on this that he's like got a girlfriend or you know.
But, you know, they did kiss in Pheromone. I mean, they didn't have a real audience, but they had
Yeah.
a few people that saw them.
There were
there's a
so
precedent.
many people. Yeah.
The world saw it.
The world
so,
is
yeah,
watching.
exactly.
Right.
Well, maybe they thought, you know, we could put this on the air that he kissed Lois Lane, but also priorities here.
Sure.
I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, it is interesting that they don't make a big deal out of it. Especially, I remember in a later episode, somebody acts kind of surprised that Superman cares about Lois a lot. Like, oh, is she your girl? Like, well, didn't you watch the news?
Yeah.
Don't you
when
know?
when she puts her hand on his arm in the episode where the reporters
Sex, lies, and video.
Yep.
Tape.
Oh,
Yep. Lois just puts her hand on his arm and all of a sudden it's a scandal. But you make out with someone on the, in front of a bunch of reporters and it's no big deal. We're good.
It's
that's our
fine.
Lois.
It's fine.
Oh, Lois.
Then Superman walks away and he gets fitted for his journey into space. He gets a little tank with 6 hours worth of oxygen and a communication radio thingy. And we learn here that Superman can hold his breath for 20 minutes.
That's not very long.
It's not.
I bet he could go longer if he tried.
Well, he
needs to-
must have because I'll get into that later when we get there because it doesn't make sense.
Well,
The math. Julie's
the
like, the
6
math.
hours
the
of
math.
oxygen was for a regular human. So say he held his breath for 20 minutes, took one sip of the oxygen, held his breath
Right.
for another 20 minutes. Still doesn't work out with the
Okay.
math?
See, but he has to come all the way back. He doesn't have oxygen coming all the way back. And then he doesn't have oxygen when he goes back.
Really, really quickly. Remember?
We'll talk about how quickly he has to fly to get there.
That's why he gets
But-
amnesia, because he was oxygen deprived and his brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can get under that because the math does not make sense to me.
Oh my God.
Oh, I had fun with this math last night. Are we going to talk about the missing scene here?
Oh, the missing scene.
I know.
Yes.
I know Molly probably knows what I'm talking about. Jen, do you know what I'm talking about? The missing scene?
No clue. No.
They had a little scene of the president pulling up, getting out of, I think it was a limousine, and basically just thanking him and like, God bless you and yeah, good luck kind of thing. It was just a quick, short scene. It was filmed. I do have the scene. It is terrible, and I can totally
love
see
to
why
see
it was
it.
cut. But they had like a Bill Clinton impersonator, and it was terrible. I'm sorry to the actor, but it was bad.
I'm so glad now looking back that they not only cut that, but then when they did bring a president, it was a completely different president.
Yeah.
They just had it be in their own universe. So
And maybe that was part of it, but I think also because it was bad.
it would have been cool if they'd had Sonny Bono show up again and be like, I don't know
He's
what
the
kind of
president.
Governor.
We got another quote, Sonny and Cher quote as he heads off into space. Like, got this, babe.
You got this, babe.
You got this, babe. I love it. That's good.
That would have been great. Yeah. So maybe I'll have to share it on our socials or something because it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So General Zeitlin offers Superman the chance to take some nukes up into space with him, but Superman says no, let's just try me ramming into the dang thing first, because who wants nuclear fallout? So he takes off and everybody's looking up, and a few hours later at the Daily Planet, everyone's gathered around a TV while that news reporter from earlier, he's reporting on Superman's journey with help from Eprad. Eprad has a live transmission from Superman, and we hear that he's ready to smash into the asteroid. Impact in 3, 2, 1. There's a huge boom, and Superman goes spinning like someone in a tumble dryer all the way backwards, and Eprad loses contact. And Lois hears this, and she says, well, his microphone went out. He's fine. He has to be. And everybody's looking really worried. This news reporter also says, Superman took off several hours ago. He was calm and collected, and his final words were, "I'll do my best." I'm like, we watched him take off, and he did not say that.
Maybe he said it after.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Because the last thing he said was, well, here I go.
Exactly. Maybe when he was halfway up, he flew back down and he was like, I'll do my best. And went back up real fast.
Maybe.
One small step for, no, wait, I have a better quote. Hang on, I'm going to go back.
Well, it was even cheesier in the script. In the script, like, ground control is talking to him, like the scene is a little bit longer. And they're like, there's a lot of people here who want you to know you're the best friend Earth has ever had. And then he goes, thanks. Well, here I go. I look like an ant next to this thing. I'm going as fast as I have ever gone before. Here goes, my friends.
Barney the dinosaur
little
today.
cheesy. Yeah.
Like, who wrote this episode? Because yikes, no.
Bryce. We love you, Bryce.
Sorry, Bryce. Typically, yes, I do, but this was bad.
Part of being a good writer is also being a good editor and knowing when to cut stuff.
Take it out.
So.
Take it out. Please take it out.
Good point.
In the next scene, we see what looks like a fireball hurtling toward Earth. It crashes into what appears to be an abandoned building and creates a crater in the ground. Several people see and hear this, and one of them goes to investigate. This man, who I will call Matt because the actor is Matt Clark, is pushing a shopping cart full of stuff, and he sees the crater and sees someone inside of it. Why, it's Clark. What you doing down there? Matt demands. Clark has lost his entire suit and is rubbing his head, looking very confused.
He's naked.
The shadows were so convenient in this scene.
Good job with the shadows.
The angles of the camera, I was like, nice work. It's also convenient that this guy just happened to have a gazillion glasses hanging around his neck. Like, that's...
Gonna say, I think that's his shtick. He is the local peddler of extra accoutrements. So anything you need,
yes,
Matt's got you covered.
My thinking is, Clark is sitting in this hole without glasses on, not getting recognized as Superman. Maybe because this homeless guy is just so completely blind that every pair of glasses that he finds, he keeps for himself.
Okay.
And that's why he didn't get recognized.
I don't think anyone's looking for a Superman outside of a Superman suit. Like, that is what you look at first, I feel like.
I'm not looking at his face at this point in time, so I wouldn't have recognized him as Superman either.
That's true. Good point.
So Matt hands Clark a spare jumpsuit he happens to have, as well as a pair of glasses. And he tells them to put these glasses on so he doesn't look so dumb. Poor Clark. Matt asks where Clark is from and what his name is, but Clark just says, I don't know, and I can't remember. Matt tells Clark that Clark, is a mess, and he decides to bring him along with him to get some breakfast down at the local shelter. We cut to Clark sitting in a police station, and Lois comes in. She's annoyed because Inspector Henderson has called her, but apparently not told her why. And she says something about her partner, Clark, obviously, being AWOL. And then she sees Clark. Wait, she says, what's he doing here? Henderson explains that they found him at the shelter and that Clark doesn't remember anything about who he is. There's a police department psychiatrist there, and she has been evaluating Clark. She explains to Lois that it appears Clark has amnesia, and that it was likely caused by some kind of physical trauma. Lois remembers that Clark got hit by a car a few days ago, and the doctor is like, well, guess it was delayed reaction amnesia. She gives Lois some advice on helping Clark get his memory back. Surround him with familiar people and do familiar things. Just be patient with him. To which Henderson rudely says,
That's asking a lot, Doc.
I can be patient.
and Lois gives Henderson a look. So this is our first time seeing Henderson on the show, but this technically wasn't his first episode. We mentioned that Witness got aired out of order. So Witness was the first one where, script-wise, where we were supposed to see him. But even in that one, he and Lois already knew each other. So it wasn't like an intro episode or anything. So we're just here to assume that they've known each other a while and have a little bit of an antagonistic relationship. So
Henderson was played by 2 other people before, so he's not new. It's just this guy's new.
those other Hendersons didn't have this same vibe at all. So
No, they
in
did
my
not.
mind, this Henderson has been around for a little while and knows both Lois and Clark pretty well by this point.
This could be a different Henderson. There could be 2
his twin brother.
or 3. There's 3 different Hendersons.
We love our Hendersons, but we especially love Richard Belzer.
Did
Yes.
you guys notice that they say physically he's fine? Which leads me to believe that they have checked him out physically.
Right. Shouldn't he be at a hospital?
If you're checking someone physically, you're like poking and prodding, and this is Superman, right?
Physically, I mean, he can walk. They say walk in a straight line. He could do that. He could.
Mhm. Am I
I don't know
reading
if they
too
would have
much into
taken his
this?
pulse.
Okay.
No, I don't think they do a thorough exam. I think I'm
Okay.
like, well, there's no bruises.
Well, I was thinking that too. I'm like, if you hit your head and you have amnesia, you'd probably get your head scanned or whatever. But then I thought, well, they don't know that he hit his head. They just know
Right.
that he was found with amnesia and he seems okay otherwise. Maybe that's
But-
why they didn't. There is a scene in the script with the shrink, and she asks him, well, hey, do you remember what your favorite color is? And he goes, blue. No, wait a second. No, red. Maybe it's yellow. What?
Oh.
So she was in there for a while asking him stupid questions.
There are a couple of sort of throwaway jokes in this scene. One of them is that Clark is behind a two-way mirror, and because he apparently can't see Lois and Henderson and the doctor, he's checking his teeth in the mirror, and it's super awkward.
Yeah.
And then also the doctor says that Clark suffers from something called the Superman complex, and Lois is like, oh, well, don't we all? Apparently, there's now this Superman complex. I don't know if it's a legit thing, but somehow in all of the doctor's questioning, she found out that Clark is a chronic do-gooder who thinks that he can handle anything. Like, wow, you really talked to
You're
this
pretty
guy
good.
for a while.
Yeah.
Good to know this
Good
man.
job.
Back at the Daily Planet, Clark is still wearing the jumpsuit that Matt gave him, and Lois is showing Clark some things on his desk and asking, look familiar? Nope. Lois spots some donuts and says, you always get a donut when you come in. You usually like these cake things. She brings him a donut and notes, this is a little stale. Then she hands it to him. You hungry? Lois
No.
notices that Clark is not wearing his regular glasses, and she remembers that he keeps a spare pair of his glasses in his desk drawer, which I thought was sweet that she knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
she's been snooping, perhaps, who knows.
Uh-huh.
She hands him a pair of his spare glasses, and we see him take the glasses off, and he has no glasses. Oh no, what if Lois looks at him? And then he puts the spare pair on, and she looks up, and whew, she did not see him glassesless, because his secret is safe.
I love that scene. It's so
It's
good.
tough there for a
Oh,
second.
no.
Lois then stands in front of Clark and puts her hands on the sides of his arms and says,
Now look at me, Clark. You really don't remember anything?
We're a reporting team. Isn't that what you said?
she says, yeah, but
Well, I'm more like the senior partner.
So you call the shots.
You could say that.
and he's ready to accept that when her guilty conscience kicks in and she says, okay, forget it, we're full partners, but for the time being, maybe you should follow my lead. And he says, that's, good idea.
Did you catch the callback to the pilot? No.
No.
Clark says a line, basically, you call the shots. And she had said that in the pilot. Like, I
Yeah.
call the shots, I ask the questions, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So he kind of remembers a little.
Oh, that's cute.
And I was like, oh, a little callback for the pilot. All right. So then Kat comes over, sees his ridiculous outfit, and wonders what the heck the fashion statement was all about. Lois tells her that he has amnesia, and Kat thinks that they are just messing with her. When she realizes it's true, she takes the opportunity to take advantage of the situation by pulling Clark aside and pretending that they have some secret romantic relationship. Terrible. Shame on you. I love Clark's face here when he says,
We do?
he doesn't believe it either. She hugs him and cries that he doesn't remember anything. Just then, Perry and Jimmy walk over and introductions happen. Perry says something is up at Eprad and wants to know if he is up to a news conference. But he clearly needs to change because he cannot go like that. So Jimmy takes him down to his lockers. So then we have a scene of them getting out of a cab, and for some reason, Clark sneezes. Why? I don't know, because he doesn't typically sneeze, we learn
Oh my
later
gosh.
on.
I didn't even think about that.
Why?
There's a couple things in this episode where it makes me wonder if not only does he have amnesia, but his powers aren't quite right
Yeah.
for a brief time. Like he's like, when you're just getting over an illness and you're still a little, I feel like that's happening.
Okay.
He's got space dust in his nose. That's what it is. Anyway, he sneezes and blows the cab sideways across the street into a fire hydrant, which then sprays water everywhere. Lois just says, don't trust the the cab drivers, blah, blah, blah. And she kind of explains what's going on at this news conference. And then they go into the news conference and learn that while Superman did help the asteroid, it's smaller, but it is still 3 miles across and will be hitting the Earth in about 55 hours. They explain that they have not heard from Superman yet, but don't worry, because they are going to deliver a rocket with a nuclear payload. Clark then asks,
Are you looking for Superman?
No, can't ask a question. Good sign, huh?
Perry and Jimmy are watching it all unfold on the TV back at the planet. Jimmy agrees with Clark and thinks that they should be looking for Superman. He had heard that a bunch of people reported a shooting star crashing in Suicide Slum, and well, maybe that's Superman. Perry thinks it's a super long shot, but Jimmy ends up convincing him, saying,
Well, I don't want to bet my life on a rocket, Chief. I'm 21 years old. You've had a great career, but I haven't even written my first story yet. Now, I'm not ready to give up.
So Perry agrees to go along.
I like how sweet Lois is to Clark in this episode. And in one of the scenes is when right after he sneezes and she kind of just dismisses the cab and then she kind of puts her hand on his arm. She's like, come along
Yeah.
with me. And she's explaining to him, like, at the very beginning of the episode, she doesn't treat him very well, but after he has amnesia, she is so sweet to him. And I'm just like here
Yeah.
for it.
I agree. I think it's cute.
She is very patient with him, surprisingly, because she isn't typically. So now we are on Lex's balcony. And what is Lex doing when there's only 55 hours till death? He decides to trim his bonsai tree, talking to Asabi, saying that basically you can't assume anything. Asabi says,
Hope for the best. Plan for the worst.
That's always been my credo.
We don't yet know what he's talking about, but Lex tells him to invite Lois Lane and make sure she has all the comforts of home, followed by a really creepy smile.
We used to quote this scene, my brother and I. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. That's always been my credo. And we didn't know what a credo was. We just thought that was hilarious. Like it could have been, that's always been my potato. Like we didn't know. So we would just say that.
I like that
cute.
better.
Always
Awesome.
been my potato.
So Lois takes Clark back to his apartment. Trying to jog his memory, he looks around. He picks up his college football, smells it. Then he picks up a photo of his parents, and Lois
Smells it.
says,
Just
yes, he
Sorry.
smells
I
the
couldn't
picture of his
resist.
parents.
Smells his parents. Yes.
Yes. Lois says that they've tried to get a hold of them, but the phones are overloaded all over the country, so that explains why they don't know yet what's going on. Lois says that she's going to be leaving, and poor Clark is like, do you have to?
Clark, there's too much at stake. I can't just write Superman off. We need him.
You're right. We should keep at it.
No, I should keep at it. We need you too.
He admits that he is scared. It's scary not knowing what you've missed. She tells him that, he's traveled the world, he has a family who loves him, and he hasn't really missed anything important. I love this scene.
Are we more than friends?
More than... Well, like I told you, we're partners. We work closely together.
How close?
Close. Not close. Close. But, close.
Did you notice when she was saying not close, she looks down and up?
She looks down, yes. I did notice
Not
that.
close.
Close.
Like, oh, hello. We know what you're talking about. This scene was used in promos for this episode. And this is what got me excited to watch it in the first place is he asks, are we friends? Or no, what he says, we're friends. Are we more than friends? And her response, I feel like they used that in the promos too, right? Do you guys remember that? Got my
do
hopes
remember
up.
it. I don't think they used her quote. I don't remember though. I remember them using his. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
A little bit. Yeah, it's been a little bit of time.
But yeah, I think it's like super sweet that he clearly feels like there is something there because there is on his part.
Mhm.
Maybe not on hers completely yet, but there is something in the back of his mind that says that there should be something more than friends. So he's remembering something.
But her response is it's not necessarily platonic. It's a little flirty the way she responds. So I feel like she needs to get called out on that.
She doesn't just say, no, absolutely not.
No.
We are not. She's
Yeah.
very sweet, but it's also I do wonder how much of her is just kind of being a little bit more vulnerable because there's this in the back of her mind. We only have 4 days
Right.
left. I don't
Mhm.
have to shut him down completely. I can be nice because it can't go anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
a valid point because later on we see some decisions that she potentially makes that kind of sway the pendulum the other direction. We'll
Bring
get
to.
there.
Okay.
But then Clark says,
I bet you're a great reporter.
Well, see, your memory's already starting to come back.
so now we have Perry driving down the road in Suicide Slum, and Jimmy spots a massive hole in a billboard, and then he sees the giant crater in the ground. He gets out and starts investigating, starts kind of snooping around in the hole, and he finds a tiny piece, a scrap of the S from Superman's uniform. Now they know he made it back to Earth. Did you guys notice the billboard?
It was something space related or faster than a speeding bullet or something. Am I?
Yeah, it was for the Metropolitan Metro liner.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it said faster than a speeding
Faster than a
bullet.
speeding bullet. Yep, I
Yeah.
did. I wrote that down.
So Martha and Jonathan are now arriving in Metropolis. They have their suitcases, they're walking down the sidewalk. They realize that they're definitely not going to catch a cab, and that Jonathan says that they need to find a payphone so they can call the planet again. But there is a super long line waiting for the phones. Martha's had it. She grabs the suitcases, starts crossing the street. Jonathan's like, what's happening? And she goes, well, we're walking a couple hours to his apartment. Jonathan does not want to walk a couple hours.
No.
You can see it all over his face.
Are you serious?
Jonathan, our boy is missing. Do I look serious?
Hey, keep your shirt on.
Did you guys see the guy selling water?
Mm-mm.
He was selling water for half gallon for $3 and 1 gallon for $5.
What's he gonna do with the money?
Right? He's gonna die too. So
Yeah,
maybe if they
Wow.
don't die, he'll have money.
apparently.
Taking advantage of the situation. So back at the Daily Planet, in the script, there's a little part here where Lois is crossing, through the planet to go get her coffee. She passes Applegate and tells him, have you checked the hospitals for Superman? So he hasn't found anybody at the hospital. So you need to check the morgues. And I was like, oh, I would
Right.
think that would be reported because,
Yeah, the more
he's
Yeah.
invulnerable.
Right.
They would know.
The
But-
morgue would be like,
so they
oh,
cut-
wait, this is Superman. Yeah.
You can't cut this guy. This guy must be Superman.
Yeah, weird. Huh, what's going on?
I mean, one of the many science-y wackadoodle things in this episode is the notion that after he got hit by the asteroid, not only would he happen to be flung back toward Earth, but that he would happen to be flung back towards Metropolis and land there. I mean, there's
Exactly.
a 1 in a zillion chance
Mhm.
that happened.
Right.
They don't seem to be thinking like, could he have landed somewhere else? It's always just like, he must be here somewhere. We are going to search the city. Like, okay,
Exactly.
Metropolis.
this is a big
Exact same
city.
trajectory back to Earth. Exact same. Well, almost. He didn't
As
leave
the
from
Earth is
suicide
spinning.
slum.
Yeah.
But yeah, as the Earth is spinning. True. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Makes
The
no
Atlantic
sense.
Ocean is huge, but it's probably Metropolis. Yeah.
Well, maybe he was conscious before he felt like, I don't know. Whatever. Makes no sense. That's why I'm sticking with that. It makes no sense. All right. So Lois goes to get her coffee, and Clark is just curious how they met, and if they liked each other right away. Again, he's feeling like he does like her. And she says, well, we didn't not like each other. That's not really true, Lois. Lois is still being a little nice here.
Yeah.
She did not like him at all.
Like, we don't have to revisit that.
But-
Everything was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But good on you, Lois. He does seem to remember something that she doesn't, usually drink coffee like she is. Like she usually has her decaf, not caffeine. And I did notice that she is using Clark's mug, that he usually uses, not her own. I thought that was interesting.
Oh. Wait,
Not
what
sure
does the mug
why.
look like? How can you tell?
Usually she has the little light blue one that says
This
the
is-
best man for the job is a woman, and he usually has the one with the playing cards, and she chose the playing cards.
This is
I'm
interesting
thinking
because
she-
I've never caught on to that.
Or it is his, and she's always wanted to use it, but never could. And now she's like, he doesn't know
Yes.
it's his.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Exactly. That could totally be it.
It
But I
used
just
to be
thought that
hers
was
until
kind
he
of
came along.
interesting.
That's funny.
Or somebody lost her mug. Somebody in the
Yeah.
prop department lost her mug.
Applegate, for sure.
Applegate
Poor
stole it.
Applegate. Poor guy.
Nah. I love him. He was great. Did he ever say anything? I don't think he did, right? He didn't even have
I
a
don't
line.
think he had a line. No.
No, that's probably why he's uncredited, but he was great. So underused. They should have used him again.
Where are you? Come on our podcast.
Yes. We need Applegate.
Come on. Who played Applegate? Does anybody know? I
Yes.
know.
Does anybody know who played Applegate? I would love to know if he's done anything else because he was amazing. All right. So back to the episode. So she gets a note passed to her that Lex Luthor is trying to get a hold of her. So she leaves. Kat comes up, says she has survival supplies, batteries, a flashlight, food, water, and of course, champagne. So at this point, Clark knows that they do not have a romantic relationship.
I need to find my own memories. I can't fake them with somebody else. I'm sorry.
But I feel kind of bad for Kat. I mean, I know she said, she doesn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
But she's taken advantage. If she hadn't done that, he probably would have hung out with her. But now, of course, he doesn't want to.
She just
Rude.
went about it wrong. She doesn't make the
Completely.
best choices.
So Jimmy comes by, grabs Clark, and tells him that he's coming along to the psychic. He's got a lead and he wants to go there. So they're at the psychic, who is great, in my opinion. I loved her.
She was
They
good.
she was so good. They show her the little ripped S from his suit. They say that they've had it tested. Tested where? I don't know. Star Labs, maybe. Who knows? That it's emitting some space, blah, blah, blah. It's been in space. So she says that she's been feeling his presence and his confusion. She must be a really good psychic. I love how she stands up.
He's here! We know he's here. That's why we're here.
His life force is very powerful.
I think she's confused.
Look, hey, I know what I'm feeling here, okay? I feel the vibration in his life force here.
Clark's face is amazing. He's like,
This lady's
this
whack.
chick is nuts. But she was great.
Yeah. She was really good. But if you were in a room and someone was saying that there was a ghost, something that we as people typically don't believe in, if you'd think she's wackadoodle.
Exactly.
I would
totally
make the
think
same
she's
face.
wackadoodle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's saying Superman is in the room with us right now. And they're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
no, he is not. You're missing what we're trying to ask.
She's so on point, though. Whoever wrote that
She's
part,
not wrong.
good job.
So, Lex and Lois are walking around his underground bunker. He tells her that it holds 200 people and supplies for 3 years, tools for farming and manufacturing for when they reemerge. Lois wants to know why she's there, thinking maybe he wants her to write about it. But no, that would be cruel. Let's not tell people about this. He walks them around the corner to a familiar-looking hallway. Lois's face immediately recognizes this hallway. He opens the door to an almost exact copy of her apartment. Okay, this is mega creepy. One, Asabi is the one, presumably, who put this apartment together.
Mm-hmm.
How did he know what it looked like? Did he go break into her apartment?
That's what I took away.
He must have. Because, I mean, Lex has been to her apartment, but Lex didn't put it together.
Mm-mm. No, I think he probably took pictures of every last detail. I don't know how they did this in such a short amount of time, but
very quickly. Go furniture shopping. And
yeah. Find
he's got
everything
money.
identical. Yeah. But the only difference in the apartment is, did you see they have these little silver, like, I don't know, like space looking things up near the lights and the top of and that's how they distinguished that this is the space version versus your actual apartment. That's all they had to do to change the scene. Is put these
I think they were like air filters, filtration systems or something hanging from the ceiling. That was my guess of what that was.
Right. Something.
But
I don't know, but
it was a very close copy and very creepy. I would have been like, hell no, I am out of here. Like, how did you even know what my apartment looks like, you creep?
Stalker.
Ugh. No, thank you. So Lois is in shock and she goes,
Why me?
His response, again, creepy Lex, because I care. Just leave it at that. Just stop right there. But no, he has to say.
And because I must admit that 3 years will be a long time without companionship.
Ew, man, come on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Companionship is just friendship, right?
I do not think that's where he was going.
I don't think so either.
Just wants a chess player buddy, that's all. Someone to play tennis with.
Just needs
He's got his Sabi. Come on, he's got his Sabi.
He's got his bros, but like,
Is Nigel going?
Yeah,
He's got Nigel.
Asabi, and Lex. He needs Lois for other reasons.
That's
and
a
I think we all
that's a
know what those
threesome.
reasons are.
That's a threesome I don't want to
Uh-huh.
see. Asabi, Lex, and Nigel.
So you're telling me that when he says companionship, he means, you know.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
Okay,
No,
I'm like,
I'm just
wait.
saying, when I was 13, that was not
okay,
clear to me. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say at 13, I don't know that I would have caught
I
that
was just like,
either.
oh,
Really,
he'll be
probably not.
lonely. He wants a buddy. And then I was a little older. I was
probably-
like, ooh.
Yeah.
No.
I think it probably
That's
went over my
not
head too.
it.
Mhm.
So Lex leaves, telling her that she needs to think about it. And she thinks pretty quickly because he barely makes it out the door and down the hallway when she comes out and says that she can't stay there. This could be the best comeback in history, and she has to see it. Lex's reply, well, it could be the fastest knockout. But either way, she has to see it. In the script, I liked the script version a little better, honestly. She says that she has a partner who needs her, friends at the paper who are like family to her, and she's not going to give up on Superman. I like that better.
Like that. That's way cuter.
Mhm.
They probably had to cut it for content though, because that's longer than either way.
Yeah.
I have to see it for myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, she's thinking of Clark.
I like that. So Perry is now throwing baseball cards down on his desk when Jimmy opens his office door and walks in. Jimmy admits that he struck out, and Perry says he did too and offers Jimmy some fries. Jimmy asks if they let people with high blood pressure eat this stuff, living out their lives as they see fit, I guess, because what do they have to lose at this point? What would you guys do if you knew the world was going to end?
Yeah, would fries be the last thing that you'd want to
Would
eat?
that- Right.
That wouldn't be my final meal. I'd choose like Mexican or Chinese or something, like a really, really good meal.
Something really good, yeah. So if you had 24 hours left, would you be at work?
Heck to the no. I don't want to be at work ever.
I would say no. I don't even know what I would be doing. I'd snuggling my dog or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say snuggle the dogs. Did I just choose the dog over my husband?
Oh, poor Chris.
Sorry, no. Snuggle
We
them
can
both.
join in. Yeah.
I would go take a bunch of cats out of the Humane Society and like cuddle
Aw.
them.
Yeah, give them some loves.
Aw.
So Perry tells Jimmy that he can write up the story that Superman is alive and we have proof. Jimmy is absolutely flabbergasted.
I won't let you down.
Just do your best, son.
And it's a really sweet relationship that they're showcasing here. Perry offers him his lucky typewriter, and we find out that Perry wrote his very first story on that typewriter.
It's such a sweet scene. The music score here is great too. It's just very heartfelt. But also, he gives him that typewriter to use. It sounds great. Have you ever used a typewriter to write a story?
Yeah.
Especially as a novice.
Frustration station.
No wonder he's making mistakes galore, poor guy.
You can't just go backspace.
Let's just make it harder on him. Jeez, Perry, good
poor
job.
Jimmy. So Lois is on the phone asking if Clark could stand a little company. It is in the evening, and she seems just a little bit lonely. But we find out that he can't because his parents are in town. The disappointment that I had, and I think Lois had, was off the charts. Lois said that she wouldn't want to intrude during family time. And I feel bad for Lois at this point because who does she have? She has the planet and Perry.
Is any of her family local?
I feel like Dad left town after that whole debacle with the boxers. So,
Yeah. Think
and
so
Lucy,
too.
we have no idea.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't think any of them
Yeah.
are local right now.
I don't think so either.
But it is sweet that she is reaching out to Clark. So
Fine.
Clark, on his end, hangs up the phone and tells his parents,
Who was that?
Lois Lane. I don't know if she's more upset about the asteroid hitting Earth or the fact that Superman's missing.
and Clark's dad tries to set him straight.
Superman's not missing.
Well, sure he is.
And Martha points out that to Jonathan that she doesn't think that Clark knows. So Martha goes over and opens Clark's closet and pulls out his Superman costumes and tells him that she sewed them for him. And Clark is just standing there confused. He thinks it's ridiculous. He starts going off on a tangent, basically calling them crazy. And Jonathan goes over and grabs a baseball bat and swings it, hitting Clark in the stomach. And Eddie's acting here always cracks me up. I love him dearly, but the
His
shaking,
face.
he
The
shakes.
shake. Like, oh.
Yeah, it's cute. It's funny. Credit, but also cringe.
I hope that bat wasn't sentimental or anything.
Yeah,
Like his,
yeah. His childhood.
like, thanks, Dad.
Literally,
Thanks,
yeah.
Dad, you broke my bat.
It was for his own good.
Yeah. So Clark looks down, confused, but maybe he's willing to hear them out now. And now Clark and his parents are watching the news. Eprad is attempting to hit the rest of the meteor again with an Ansgard rocket to break it up even further, but they miss completely.
It's not. How did they even think it was going to hit? It was not even. It looked like the Asteroids game. Like the graphics
Yeah.
were so bad.
And a 3-year-old,
bad.
yeah, a 3-year-old was playing it because it was so off course. I like how they count down, like, maybe it'll still turn. And
Maybe it's going to go. Maybe.
Like,
Maybe
they
it's going to go that
literally-
way.
Yeah, they keep counting, like, and then it's like, oh, it missed.
Like, come on now.
So they turn off the TV and Jonathan tells Clark,
You're the only one that can do it, son.
Even if what you're telling me about being Superman is true, I still don't remember how to be him.
there are only 25 hours and 20 minutes left on the timer. Perry comes over to Jimmy and the typewriter and says, Jimmy, I'm gonna need that copy. And Jimmy seems frustrated and admits that everyone makes this look so easy. Perry says,
I could use a polish. Jimmy?
No, I know. You gotta give it to a real reporter.
No, I'm just thinking maybe I'll partner you with somebody on this.
Partner me? Come on, who's gonna want to partner with me?
and just then the elevator doors ding and Lois walks out. Gee, I wonder who that could be that he's going to partner Jimmy with.
Probably the only one who's sitting around at work.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, who's going to want to partner with me? They all went home. Oh, okay.
They all went home to their family.
So Kat is in a confessional admitting all of her sins, and there are many.
I told a man who has no memory that he desires me.
Does he?
Well, he ought to.
She had some good one-liners in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the scene that I didn't quite understand when I was watching it as a youngster. And it's at the end where she says to the priest,
Aren't there some things that you passionately want to experience? Just once before you die? Father?
you hear his footsteps running away. And as a kid, I was like, oh, she's trying to come on to the priest, and he's so scared of her that he's running away. And then later, I was like, oh, no, he's probably being like, dang it, you're right. I'm going to go beep with somebody right now. But of course, maybe he already had somebody in mind. I mean, because obviously he and Kat aren't going to do it. But like he's got somebody in mind. He's like, I'm out of here. I got to go do that one time before.
If you live by the rule that once you die, you go to heaven, and this is getting deep and philosophical, but like he's so close at this point, why would he give that up now? If he wanted to do that, he has someone right there on the other, like he doesn't need to go run it. Like, just get it over with. Right. You've got someone.
The thing is,
I never thought about it the other way around.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could, I guess it could be, but I still see it as him running away because he is like terrified of this lady.
Of this
no
overpowering woman that's coming on
he
to him.
can't see her, but we can. And she does this thing where her eyes just suddenly narrow. And she asks the question right afterwards, and she's thinking, So listeners, what have you always thought about this scene? Is this guy scared of Kat? Does this guy have something he needs to go do? What have you always thought? Because I've obviously switched my thoughts over the years about that, and I did not realize that I was in the minority.
He forgot to return the Blockbuster tape last night. He's like,
Yeah. I don't want that late fee in case the
Right.
world doesn't end.
Or is he running off to do something else? He's like, you know what? I have never beat all the levels of Mario 3, and you got it, darn it, I only have 24 hours. I'm out of here.
right.
What is it? Could be anything.
Maybe. I feel like this
Open
is
to
definitely
interpretation.
open to interpretation, and our listeners, all three of them, need to answer.
Yeah, this, all
I
three
want to
of
hear
them.
what you think.
But this needs to be a poll question.
Okay. We have 13 hours left on the countdown, and we see the meteor is flying around. Well, towards Earth.
Yeah, towards Earth.
It's not just floating around. I made that up. Okay. So we see the Daily Planet building with the newspaper stand out front, and the front page reading, Superman came home. Where is he now?
And I do own that Superman Came Home newspaper. That's probably one of my favorite papers that I own. I love it. And it has a
that's
great
cool.
screen capture from that episode.
Absolutely. I didn't know
So
you had that
fun.
one. Perry comes over to Lois and thanks her for sharing the byline with Jimmy. Perry tries to send her off, telling her that she doesn't need to be there. Perry asks about her family, and apparently they all managed to get together on the open phone line, and they just pretended like they liked each other. Perry says,
You know, maybe he's the lucky one in all of this. I mean, if he can't remember how it was, how's he gonna miss it?
valid. Lois stands up and says that she wants to go say goodbye, or like see how he is. So she hugs Perry and the music swells, and she says she'll be back before, anything happens. So she goes off to see Clark. And this is where I feel like, especially too, when she called Clark and wanted to go hang out with him, this is where that pendulum was swinging back. She's appreciating him and thinking of him as, very like an important person in her life because she doesn't really have anyone else. And now here she is again, going back to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cute.
It's very sweet.
So meanwhile, out on Clark's balcony, Martha is wearing this extra long blue sweater thing. And it's like, there's a turtleneck underneath. It's very interesting looking. And she's telling Clark that flying is probably like riding a bike and to just give it a try. Clark lifts his arms and jumps up into the air. And he asks if he's supposed to just flap his arms because he has no idea. And Martha just goes, no, you go like this. And she makes this very dramatic pose. And it kind of makes me laugh because then Clark tries to copy her and it's comedic.
It's goofy.
Yeah. So Jonathan inserts himself and says,
It's just instinct, I think. You just will it to happen.
Clark can't remember. He's trying. He can't remember how to do it. So they bring Clark over to the ledge. And now the camera shows a downward into the street below. And it is far. Quite a difference from the last time we saw that scene with the recycled milk jug. I don't know where maybe he moved apartments. I know Molly brought that up last episode, but
I'm awfully confused about where and what floor he lives on because the entrance to in other episodes he's on a ground floor because they just like walk up a few steps and walk into his apartment.
Yep.
So what?
Yep.
Okay. Who knows?
So Clark panics and tries to turn back, but his parents convince him to try and to count to 3. But on 2, Martha shoves him from behind and he goes flying down. Like, not flying, but like crashing down. But when you see the camera work angled up at him, you don't see the balcony. He looks like he's flying off of the roof. So I'm, again, confused.
I think it's just the angle. Well, and obviously it's a set, but...
Right. I mean, they had to make some choices here, and I'm sure they weren't necessarily thinking about, this is how we've done it in the past, so...
I feel like this is And tell me if I'm wrong. You might not know either, but I feel like this alley that they use is the same alley that famous upside down Spider-Man kiss is filmed at. I feel like it's the same alley.
I think it sounds familiar, but
because I feel like when we were at the Warner Brother tour and like driving by it, they were talking about it, and I was like, I'm pretty sure Clark's apartment is right up there. I'm pretty sure it's the same alley.
Can you ask Matt? He would know.
Matt, are you listening?
Yeah, I think
it is.
I've done that tour like, I don't know, a dozen times. Not a dozen, but I've done it a number of times. And I should know, but I don't retain information like I should. So anyway, as Clark is falling, Lois is walking by and she hears a crash in the alleyway. She turns and looks, and Clark walks out of the garbage. She goes, Clark, what are you doing here? And Clark's response is, I live here. Lois is like, no, you don't. Not in the alley. She asks if he heard something, and Clark goes, oh, yeah, that was me. I was looking for clues. And Lois goes, here? Like, and points to the alley.
What?
And Clark's like, yeah. And then she just proceeds to ask if he's feeling okay. And he says, yeah. And then he realizes that he has to change the topic, because I think now at this point he knows that he's got this secret. And so he has to protect this secret identity.
That he's an idiot.
Yeah. He quickly changes the topic and asks if there's any news about Superman. She goes on to explain that Superman wants to help and that he will because she knows him. Clark asks her to tell him about Superman. So Lois starts rattling off all the things she loves about Superman, and we start to see a little glimmer of hope in Clark's eyes. We see some flashbacks to Superman saving Lois or flying around with her, and Lois turns to Clark asking if he's remembering something. Clark admits that he is, so Lois suggests that they get back to the planet. But Clark stops her and says,
Thank you.
For what?
For whatever it is that you've done for me that makes me feel so good about you.
So Lois smiles and puts her hands on his neck, saying,
Whether or not that memory of yours comes back, I want you to know I think you're terrific.
And Clark responds with a, likewise. Come up with something better than that, but it's fine.
Likewise.
And Lois, without thinking, blurts out,
I mean, I love you.
Lois realizes that she just word vomited and tries to backpedal, saying,
like a brother.
And Clark just smiles and says,
That part is definitely coming back to me.
That's such a cute scene.
Yes, it is. I like how she wants him to come back to the planet for impact, but what about his parents are still in the apartment?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Maybe, invite them to come too.
Yeah, stick together.
Just forget about them. It's fine.
It'll be fine. Clark's parents are watching him lovingly when Clark rips off his glasses and his shirt to reveal the Superman S, and Clark glares at the sky. The music swells in excitement, and we see the countdown is now at 14 minutes and counting. Superman approaches the asteroid slowly and pushes it, and we hear the velocity is decreasing and now reversing course. The countdown clock has stopped. Yay, a round of applause. The streets are now partying with shredded up paper. Kind of a waste. But I guess the world just got saved, so you do you. Clark walks into Perry's office where Perry, Jimmy, and Lois and a number of other planet employees are celebrating with champagne. Lois admits that she knew a little bump on the head wouldn't slow Clark down for long. Kat comes over and kisses him on the mouth, saying,
For old time's sake.
There were no old times, Kat.
You can't blame a girl for trying.
Okay, with that line, I officially agree with something that Kat says. You can't blame a girl for trying that on 90s Clark Kent. But I digress. Clark laughs and walks over to Lois. She asks him the first thing that he remembered. Clark responds with Superman. Everything that she told Clark made him feel like he knew him. She looks off dreamily and wonders what he must have gone through. Clark is mildly offended, saying that the asteroid wasn't exactly a picnic for him either. Lois laughs.
Clark, Superman put it all on the line. Twice. You. You fell into a bunch of garbage cans in the dark. I hardly think you can put yourself in the same league as him.
Whatever you say, Lois. Whatever you say.
And we get a cute little bumpy outro and fade to dark, and that's our show.
Yay.
So that is our episode. If you have any other things you want to bring up, this is the time.
Well, like I said earlier, I did some math. So, this is very basic math. I didn't go down to like the minutes or whatever. But they say that it took like 4 hours or whatever for him to get to that asteroid. The asteroid's going like 30,000 miles per hour. So I figured out it was 2,880,000 miles from Earth originally. And I figured out if it took him 4 hours to get to that asteroid, he had to be flying like 692,000 miles per hour. And if it took him 3 hours to get there, because I didn't do the minutes, he would have been going 932,666 miles per hour. That's crazy. Can he fly that fast?
I just want to know if any writers are out there. I want to know, I have a question for them. Did you ever think that someone 30 some years later was going to do the math for this episode that you wrote? Because it's happened. It has happened. Yeah.
Oh, no, they were like, what if someone does the math for this? Nobody will. They'll just enjoy the episode. They won't ruin it by trying to get sciencey or anything.
We're just going to skip over all of that. But he arrives back without oxygen. So let's just say the explosion sent him back even faster. But it's not possible because he left during the day. He gets back presumably the next morning, right? Because the guy, when he was in the hole, said it was breakfast. It's dark. But he said that he could still catch breakfast.
Yeah.
It must have taken him forever to get back.
There's also this whole thing with like everything in this episode takes place within like 5 days, which is not realistic.
Yeah.
They would have known this asteroid was coming. They would not have been surprised by it when it crossed in front of the sun. They would not have only had EPRAD working on this. This would have been a worldwide effort with, if you've ever seen, some of these other silly movies, but Armageddon and Deep Impact and all these things, they know about these things way in advance so that they can plan. No, but this episode is very concise, and you're supposed to just
go with it,
suspend your disbelief and be like, okay,
yeah, right.
I'm fine with that. If you start to nitpick it, like, yeah, there's a ton that don't make sense. Ton.
Yeah.
No, I just had fun
funny.
picking it a little bit, but no, you just have to just go with it for the fun because it really doesn't make sense.
Right. No, it's good though. I mean, it's funny. It's so funny.
It makes for a great episode. So
yeah, for sure.
I'll take it. Well, I wanted to touch on the fact that this is interestingly almost like a perfect standalone episode, especially for appearing midway through season 1. Because if you had never watched the show before and you tuned into this one, you get, through Clark's eyes, you get introductions to Perry, to Jimmy, to Cat Grant. You learn how Lois and Clark met. You learn that Lois and Clark write the news and Cat writes the gossip column. And this was kind of true for me too, because this is one of the episodes that I saw having not seen a lot of season 1 before this. And I was very grateful, like, oh, okay, here's who everybody is. And I feel like you could show this to somebody and this would be a great episode to show them for a first-time viewer, because it's so like, plus it's a standalone in itself. It doesn't really ever get mentioned in any other episode. You don't really have to have seen the earlier episodes, in my opinion, to understand what's going on. Yeah.
There's a lot of like heartfelt relationships between multiple different characters. That is a good one to show somebody who hasn't seen it.
Yes.
The only thing it doesn't show, I noticed, was if you were seeing this episode as your first episode, you would not know that there's any hostility between Superman and Lex because that isn't touched upon at all. But
Right.
so what? We'll get that in the next one, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You can't cover it all.
There was a part in the script though, like a second scene with Lex, where he was watching the TV and where they lose communication with Superman and it goes to static. And he makes this comment about static being like the absence of something and how he had like a creepy smile, like Superman's gone. But then he thinks about it a second and then he's kind of mad that he didn't get to kill him, basically, was kind of the implication. Like he was mad that, something else took him out and it wasn't him.
He
I
would.
was like, oh,
All right. Anything more you want to bring up?
Are we going to talk about Panic in the Sky?
Ooh, we can talk about Panic in the Sky. The 1950s episode of The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. And Julie and I have both seen this one now. And basically, I was very surprised how different they actually were, aside from there is a heavenly body on its way here, and Superman tries to stop it and gets a bump on the head and acts different. It's almost like he didn't even have amnesia in that 50s episode. It played more like he had a concussion. He's in the shower, his shower at his house. Clark falls over, breaks the glass, lands on the bathroom floor. Jimmy hears the glass breaking and runs there. He's like, Mr. Kent. Drags him back into his room, puts his pajamas on, calls Perry and Lois over, and is like, yeah, not even a scratch on him. He must be the luckiest guy alive.
But he's naked.
He is not wearing his glasses. And it is not mentioned. Nothing. They don't recognize him as Superman, even though he's not wearing his glasses in bed.
That's wrong.
I guess that's how it was. No suit, no Superman.
I don't like that.
The other funny thing was in this, Perry kept thinking Clark was messing with them and been like, Ken, snap out of it. Stop joking around. Go find Superman. Stop acting like you have amnesia, darn it. But Lois is pretty sweet and tries to help. Jimmy's very helpful. Perry is an absolute jerk. And in that one, there is still a piece of the asteroid floating around, but instead of just being on a path towards Earth, at first it acts like another moon and is shifting the tides and stuff. And then the asteroid changes its mind and now it's coming towards Earth. I mean, if you want to talk about science, there's no science involved. It is so silly. This asteroid just has a mind of its own, does whatever it wants. But yeah, he eventually does go up there. Anyway, if our viewers want to watch that, I will put the link for that in our show notes. It's a interesting watch.
I love the graphics because you can see the asteroid string hanging down that it's floating.
When
it's
it goes
not
kaboom,
that much better
it's
than
animated. It's like the animated Looney Tunes kaboom.
It's great. 50s TV. What can you expect?
Yeah.
One of my jobs is to talk about what the hell was Lex talking about this week. When Lex is trying to coax Lois into staying in the bunker with him, he tells her, mob rule is not a pretty sight. You don't have to see it. I had to look up mob rule. This is not the nicest topic, but mob rule, or occulocracy, is basically when the regular folks, sorry, not
Folks.
the
Folks, take it over. We're taking over.
Is basically when regular folks say, screw you to the established governing bodies and rise up and do things their way. Sometimes violently, sometimes in ways that shake things up, definitely outside the established laws. However, Lex, you are not one to talk, sir. Rich man who is secretly and not so secretly breaking every law known to Metropolis for your own gain. We see you. Yeah, of course he would be scared of mob rule, because then he wouldn't have as much power.
Yep.
Anyway, definitely Lois would be safer above ground with a mob, then she would be in a bunker with Lex for sure. Our acronym of the week this week is EPRAD, or EPRAD. EPRAD is the name of the sciencey place that we visit in this episode. And they're the ones who have discovered the asteroid and ask for Superman's help. You may recall that EPRAD was also a big part of the plot in the pilot. According to a script of the pilot, EPRAD stood for Extra Planetary Research and Development. And thank you to the Lois and Clark fanfic message board, specifically user Aria, for pointing that out. I guess the show wasn't permitted to name drop NASA back in season 1, so they made up their own thing. Julie, did you notice any goofs or bloopers in this episode?
It was perfect. Everything made sense. The math made sense. Everything's great. Okay, so a few that we haven't discussed. At the beginning, when they're getting their coffee at Daryl's cart, Lois orders a short. He orders a grande, but they both get the same size cup. Wouldn't they be different size cups? I think so.
Yeah.
I would think his would be taller.
This is an issue where the writers didn't meet up with the prop people and there was a disconnect.
Yeah. All right, a second one. They used a stock shot of the planet's globe during the episode. The reason I say this is because it had the trees in front of the globe and the leaves were burnt. So they used a shot from Man of Steel bars where those trees were all fried from where they were all burnt from the heat. But then later in the episode, when they had the newspaper that said Superman came home and they had that nice shot of the planet in the background, there were no trees in front of the globe. Who is stealing the trees and putting them back?
Lex needed them for his arc, and
Yeah,
yoink.
exactly.
Yes, Lex took them. There you go.
There it is. There it is.
And then another one, which I really like. So Clark goes to write the story on Lois's computer or edits it or whatever he's doing. When he sits down, if you pause it, you will see that the very first screen says Lois and Clark, scene 7. Clark uses the word processor at super speed.
It's the script.
So
What?
It is. So it is basically a title page from whatever that, program is that they did.
I feel like that's
Wow.
an Easter egg, kind of.
That's totally an
That's
Easter
so
egg.
funny.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I was
fun.
like, oh, that's hilarious.
That's good. I like that. That's a good find.
Jen, were there any fuzzy critters in this episode?
Goose egg.
0.
Yeah, goose egg. Sorry. No animals in this one. And I'm kind of glad because if the world's ending, I don't want to think about the poor animals that have to go through that. So
What if Lex's arc had like a room full of puppies? And he'd been like, Lois, if you stay here, you get the room full of puppies.
I will say that if the world ever ends here and someone wants to win me over, that would be precisely how you do it.
So you would be Lex's companion for a dog,
Companion?
in quotes.
So if it were to save the dog,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'd do it for a room full of cats, probably.
I would do it. One golden retriever. It's
Oh
John
my God.
Shea. Okay, sign me up. Let's go.
So we have some real life people, places, or events listed in this episode. Not a whole lot, though. We had another mention of Beirut, capital of Lebanon. Perry says he was there in the summer of 1982. If you look that up, yikes. Not that different than what's happening in the Middle East now. I really don't understand how Perry thinks that wasn't as bad as what we saw in Metropolis. Metropolis looked like heaven compared to what I read about Beirut. Anyway, we got a mention of Des Moines. Lois mentioned Borneo, as in the Borneo Gazette, in a callback to the pilot. And Perry referenced Ted Williams, a baseball player who was born in 1918, died in 2002. Ted Williams spent the majority of his career playing for the Boston Red Sox. He is the last player to hit a .400 average in the American League. Perry owns his baseball card.
Nice.
Jen, what is your choice for the wackiest excuse Clark makes in this episode?
I live here. Not in the alley. I was looking for clues. That's my vote.
And he says it so cutely that how can
I
you...
know. Yeah. He sounded like a little puppy.
The time has come for us to give our ratings for this episode. So from A+ to F-, your ratings, and I get to go first today. Oh my. Like I said before, this is a great episode that can almost stand by itself. It has an interesting plot, which, in a twist, there's no human villain really in this episode. And it has a bunch of funny and bittersweet moments, including some philosophical food for thought. I love that Lois doesn't choose to stay in Lex's bunker. I love that Jonathan and Martha are like, we're running out of time. Just hit the boy with a bat and push him off a balcony. I love that Lois basically tells Clark that she loves him, even though like a brother, I'll take it. A few believability issues like we have discussed. And I know we keep coming back to the whole thing, like, I know it's a show about a man who flies, so why are we concerning ourselves with science facts? Just sit back and enjoy it. I try, but I have questions. But I just want to say, Lois and Clark, we've already established, has in their universe, they already have a space station all the way up in space. They're more advanced than their universe than we are in ours, but you wouldn't guess that from this episode, but it's fine. I truly enjoy it, though. Having said all that, it's a solid episode for me anyway, despite everything, and I give it an A. Julie.
So this is an episode that I have always really enjoyed. Like Molly said, it's a very solid episode. It has nice, heartfelt scenes for everyone involved in the cast. Jimmy and Perry have a really great scene together. Lois and Perry have a good scene where he hugs her and he's all teary-eyed. Clark and Lois have multiple good scenes together where she says she loves him like a brother. And there's even a kiss between Lois and Superman, and then everything works out just perfectly. The world doesn't end. Superman saves the day. So I give it an A-.
I loved it. We get a cheek touch. We get the Superman Lois kiss, which like whatever. I'm not about the Lois and Superman kisses, but it was fine. Lois kind of flirted with the concept of liking Clark in this episode, and there were a number of times where Clark almost gave up his secret identity on accident, and it was just beyond amusing. So, plus he's naked in a hole. The glasses storyline, sorry. The glasses storyline is completely bonkers ridiculous, but somehow it works. And it also kind of makes you think, what would you do if the world was just going to end? What would you do if you had a set amount of time left? I mean, we all do have a set amount of time, but if you knew about it, like, makes you think. So I loved it. I wavered between an A- and an A. I'm kind of between both of you, but I ended up going with an A just because I thought that's a pretty gosh darn good episode. So A.
Well, don't go anywhere because we have a special profile on Martha Kent, our Callan today. I did want to mention that in a previous episode, we erroneously stated that she was in her 90s. She is close, but she is not quite there. She is 89 at the moment, and I think she's still acting. She has some recent credits, but let's start way back at the very beginning. Kay Callan was born Catherine Elizabeth Borman on January 9th, 1936. She began acting at a young age doing local theater, and she studied drama at North Texas State University at Denton. During a marriage that produced 3 children, she also got her nickname. Her husband started calling her Kay, and it stuck. Kay's first on-screen role was an episode of the early 60s TV series Route 66. She appeared in the 1970 film Joe, which starred Peter Boyle and featured Susan Sarandon. She guested on many TV shows during the 70s, including One Day at a Time, Barney Miller, Rhoda, The Waltons, and Family. In 1977, she played Veronica Cartwright in an award-winning episode of All in the Family titled Cousin Liz. Have you guys seen that episode?
No. I have seen part of it.
Yeah. 1977, so that would have been like 15 years before Lois and Clark. Yeah.
I think I saw it on YouTube like years ago.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking that one out to anyone who wants to see some of Kay's earlier work. She's great. During the 1980s, Kay appeared on many more TV shows, including Bosom Buddies, Father Murphy, Lou Grant, Newhart, Knots Landing, Remington Steele, St. Elsewhere, Moonlighting, Night Court, Highway to Heaven, Rags to Riches, and Quantum Leap. Although most of her work was in television, she did make a couple of movies during that decade, including 1980's A Change of Season and a 1982 movie called Fast Walking. In 1990, Kay Callan wrote and published a book called How to Sell Yourself as an Actor, From New York to Los Angeles and Everywhere in Between. She has also written several other books about getting further in show business, and you can find most of these on Amazon. In 1991, Kay played Michelle Pfeiffer's mother in the movie Frankie and Johnny, which also starred Al Pacino, Nathan Lane, and Hector Elizondo. She had appearances on Nurses, L.A. Law, and 5 episodes of the sitcom Coach. In 1993, she auditioned for the role of Martha Kent on Lois and Clark. And according to Deborah Joy Levine, when the auditions were happening, a lot of the other actresses who came out for the role showed up kind of wearing like dresses, farm dresses, aprons, that kind of stuff. But Kay arrived wearing a jogging suit, and that's because Kay felt that this Martha Kent would be a more modern, cool lady. And Deborah Joy agreed, and she was hired. Martha and Jonathan Kent only appeared in a little more than half of the episodes in each of the 4 seasons of Lois and Clark. So Kay was able to appear in a few other projects during LNC's run, including an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the short-lived TV show Birdland with Brian Dennehy, 1 episode of NYPD Blue, and the 1995 movie Saved by the Light. During Lois and Clark's run, Kay was known for interacting with fans online. She even gave out her email address at one point, and she participated in several Q&A chats, including 1 or possibly 2 that we all remember happening on CompuServe. And more on that in a minute. After LNC ended, Kay appeared on Chicago Hope, 7th Heaven, Dawson's Creek, Diagnosis Murder, 2 episodes of Jag, and 1 episode of Crossing Jordan. Kay was also in 3 episodes of The Division, another Deborah Joy Levine show. She appeared on Carnival, Nip Tuck, Cold Case, The Closer, Castle, Heroes, The Mentalist, and Desperate Housewives. Alas, she did not get to act alongside Teri Hatcher on that show. She had a short scene in which she played the mother of Nicolette Sheridan's character, who appeared in a dream sequence. In 2010, Kay played the neighbor Mrs. Tannenbaum in Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married 2? Between 2007 and 2012, she appeared in 3 episodes of How I Met Your Mother, playing Lily's grandmother, Grandma Lois. Coincidence?
That's cool.
Oh. She was in 3 episodes of the series Getting On, which starred Laurie Metcalf from 2013. And other 2010s credits include NCIS, Veep, Code Black, Grey's Anatomy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Justified. In 2019, Kay played Great Nana Juanetta in the film Knives Out. Her quiet, unassuming character turns out to be key to solving the movie's ultimate mystery. And while Kay is barely recognizable, they made her look older, she truly shines. Have y'all seen that movie?
That was a really good movie. I did see that movie. I don't think I would have recognized her had I not known, because they really made her look really, really old.
Yeah.
I have heard so much
so
about
good.
that, but I need to see it.
Yes, because it's really good.
In 2022, she was in the film Pie in the Sky, and her daughter, Christy Callan, was the film's composer. Kay was also in a 2023 episode of Poker Face. In 2024, she played Elizabeth, wife of Zachariah and mother of John the Baptist, in an episode of The Chosen, and that episode was called Promises.
Yes, if you want to see her act as an old pregnant person, watch that one. It's pretty funny.
Her most recent credit on the IMDb is a movie called So Torn, that's S-E-W, which also featured John Lynch, Caroline Goodall, and Ron Cook. Until recently, Kay was part of the website Cameo, and while as of this recording she isn't making new videos there are 8 short videos on there that you can watch. You can also listen to a fun interview she did with Matt Truex on his podcast, Lois and Clark, the new podcasts of Superman. a few years ago. If you guys have a specific episode of a specific other thing you've seen her in that you want to talk about?
I really like Quantum Leap, so I was excited when she was on that. And then obviously Desperate Housewives. She had a very small part, but I remember being super excited when she showed up on Desperate Housewives. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Martha.
Worlds are colliding. That's cute.
Yeah, sadly not with Teri, but whatever. At least it was the same show. Lost opportunity.
And now we have a few things, we have a few connections to Kay here. First of all, Kay on CompuServe, what do you all remember about those chats?
I remember sitting at the computer down in the basement and going in on this live chat where a lot of times there were people that typed for the celebrities. I was under the impression that she typed herself. Do you guys remember?
I feel like it was her typing.
Yeah, she was pretty competent, I feel
Right. So I remember submitting a question. I was 13 or 14 years old. I had no idea how television worked. And my question was the dumbest question on the planet. And yet somehow my question got chosen. And I remember it. I read it on the screen and she answered it. My question was, do you film Lois and Clark in front of a live studio audience? And how can I get tickets to go see a taping?
Oh,
because I had gone to other
so
tapings.
cute.
I had gone to see Thunder Alley and like all these other shows, right? So I've been in a live studio audience and I wanted to watch Lois and Clark. It was my favorite show. I'm gonna go watch Lois and Clark get filmed. So how can I get tickets? Is it Audiences Unlimited? Like, because I have never seen Lois and Clark on there. So I found out from Kay herself that no, we're not taped in front of a live studio audience. We are a multicam. I don't know how much detail she went into. I can't remember the exact words, but if anyone has the transcript out there, that was my question. I'm the idiot. So dunce cap over here. It's fine. But that's what I remember.
I think it's adorable. Like, how would they film that with a live studio audience?
I don't know, but to this day, if they ever decide to film a multicam in front of an audience, I'll go sit there for hours with my little Diet Coke watching. Yeah. What about you guys? What do you guys remember?
So cute. I don't think that I submitted any questions. I was one of those that was very much a lurker and just sitting back and watching. But I do remember, like you said, you had to submit questions on these kind of chats and they would pick and choose. It wasn't like you were like simultaneously chatting. I think you could comment. I feel like there was a chat that you could comment, but they weren't like taking those questions. They were taking ones that were already submitted. That's what I remember. But I remember being really excited about it.
I feel like this either happened on a Monday or a Friday night because that's when the chats usually happened. And the only thing I really remember about it was that a lady that I had chatted with online, her name was Judy L. She asked Kay a question, and the question was basically, would you like to see this Lois and Clark cross stitch that I made of you and Eddie, Martha and Jonathan? And Kay said yes. And what transpired was that Judy did send it to Kay. And the last we heard was that Kay said, I'm going to find a way to put this on a set. And this chat happened maybe right before season 4 was about to start. And I haven't checked the season 4 Blu-rays to see if you can see it on the wall. Because when we would watch the DVDs, you couldn't really tell. You could see pictures of Kay and Eddie on the wall, but you couldn't tell if they were cross-stitch or photos, really. But I'm wondering with Blu-ray if you can. So I'm gonna have to go check that out. So that was just the coolest thing to think that not only would she accept this gift from a fan, but she would somehow manage to get it onto the set and into the show. Like, what an honor.
Cool. Yeah.
We're so jealous.
That is very cool.
Yeah, she was so
Very cool.
sweet. She is. I mean, she's still with us, but
Yeah, absolutely.
Kay, if you're listening, we love you. One of us has met Kay in real life. Julie, would you like to tell us about your experience?
I have met Kay very, very briefly. I mean, she was at the Superman celebration in 2021. So I went down there. I got to meet her, get her autograph. She was like the sweetest woman, just what you would ever want Martha Kent to be, that is what she was. So nice. I had her sign my crew jacket. I had her sign a couple 8x10s for you guys, and I mailed them to you.
Yep.
I remember she was really excited to see the jacket. She had told me this long story about how hers was stolen like years and years ago. There's a whole long story. I won't get into that. She goes, "Where did you get this jacket?" And, you know, back in the day, the guy who I got it from, crew, didn't really want me to tell who I got it from, but I did because I was like, she won't remember. This is like, 30 years ago. And of course she was like, "Oh, from him? Oh, he's the nicest guy, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, oh God. I'm sure it's fine now, but whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this lady is sharp. Like, she remembers everything. But also when I was leaving her table that we were standing at and talking, I don't know what, my brain was like fried because I was so excited because she was so sweet and I loved her. I tripped over a bucket that was on the floor and I made a complete fool out of myself. And it was funny.
Wait,
so that's what I remember. I remember making a fool out of myself.
Well, who put the bucket there?
But yes, there was like this bucket, like this upside down bucket on the floor covering something. And I remember when we were in line, they were like telling people like, be careful of, the bucket or whatever. But I was in this all excited. I was in this all excited haze, like, oh, I met Kay. She was amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I was leaving the table and I tripped over the stupid bucket and looked like a complete fool. At least I didn't fall to the floor, but it was pretty dramatic, like, oh.
Julie,
Yeah,
you
and I
probably
felt
saved
like a
someone else
idiot.
from falling over the bucket. Kay might have
Yeah.
fallen over the bucket, except that you showed her what can happen, and you
Yes,
saved her life, basically.
You
So good job.
saved Kay's life.
Be
Everyone
careful.
should thank you. Yeah. Wow. That's a good story.
Yes.
That's funny.
I felt like a complete idiot though. But yes. But yeah, that was really great. Got photos with her, got my crew jacket signed, got the photos signed for you guys. It was great.
Thanks.
Then she had her little panel. I took video of that. Maybe I'll share some of that from, that panel because she talked really nicely about her time on Lois and Clark.
I don't think
and
you've even
how,
shared
you
that
know-
with us. I don't think
I
I've
feel
ever
like I
heard that.
have.
Really?
I'm almost positive I did. No? Jen? I feel like
I can't
did.
remember breakfast. Share it again.
That was 2021. Well, I guess that's not that far ago,
That was a while
2021.
ago. You did share a picture of her signing the things, the autographs on
Yeah.
your Instagram or Facebook or something. Because after the fact, I went back and looked, and I could see that she had lined up. There were multiple that you had her sign.
Yeah.
And then I connected the dots, and I'm like, oh, that's what she was doing there. So yeah. So it's fun to see that she's actually signing it for us. So thank you.
I thought you would like those photos with it, so I did that as well. But Molly, you own something of Kay's.
Oh yeah.
I do. She sold one of her Lois and Clark items on eBay a few years ago, and I have been watching her eBay account ever since. You think there'd be more? Listen,
No.
Kay. No.
Hey, if you're out there.
Hey, we
Yeah.
will take more if you have anything else you want to sell. No pressure, but that was very exciting. Yeah, to get something from Kay on eBay. Oh yes, I did have to pay for it, and it's cool. It's a leather Lois and Clark bag, crew gift, I guess. And then she also had a script of Season's Greetings, which she had signed, and then she had made a couple of luggage tags. Also, the script was a version of Season's Greetings, like not the shooting version. So there's quite a bit in it that was fun to read. Like, that's not in the episode. What's going on? I enjoyed that. When we get to that episode on this show, I'll bring mine out. And Julie has a version of the script too. I'll have to see how they compare.
We shall see.
Well, if anyone has any connections and wants to send her this link to listen, even if she just fast forwards to this part, all the flowers to you, Kay, but also we need some more items on your eBay, please. And do more projects.
And come back to Cameo. We miss you.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for joining
Oh
us today. If you're following alongside us as we watch, our next episode will be season 1, episode 13, Witness.
Wait a
You can find us on Instagram or Blue Sky as Folks Forever. That's FOLCS FOREVER. Or you can visit our website at folksforeverpod.wixsite.com/podcast. And until next time, please enjoy this amazing little ditty.
He fell from the stars, a man without a name. Eyes like the sky, but his fire lost its flame. The world is calling, but he doesn't hear the sound. The hero they need is nowhere to be found. Who are you? Who are you? The man who flies, the one who burns, the dark who lights the skies. Who are you? The son of steel. Do you remember how to feel? Lois whispers truth he can't seem to hold. A farmhouse waits with stories untold. A cape in the closet,